Well, Kenneth Waldroup, Ken,
Hey,
thank you for coming on to the podcast.
well, thank you for inviting me. This is great.
I got to hear you speak at one of the chamber events, and you were giving an update on what Cape Fear Public Utility Authority's been up to, and I thought it was really interesting and wanted to dig in and learn more. So
I appreciate that. I love every opportunity that I get to talk about our industry, which is a passion of mine, and our utility, which is one of the best in the nation.
well, that's what you were talking about in the meeting, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that we really need to talk more about, and I hope get the word out, because there's so much contradictory information, and so I hope that we can use this as a way to share some of that awareness and knowledge, and so we'll give you the chance to talk about it.
I love it. Thank you very much.
So let's start off with just telling us, what is Cape Fear Public Utility, and maybe where it came from, how it got started, and where we are today.
Well, the Cape Fear Public Utility is your water and wastewater system. It's my water and wastewater system. Mm-hmm. It is the backbone of our community. We provide great bottled water quality water to the tap to 200,000 plus neighbors, friends, family members in Wilmington and in Wrightsville Beach now, mm-hmm. and in much of the surrounding county. We are a special purpose unit of local government. We were created by the city and county. We're a child of the city and county government. But we're standalone. We have an 11-member board mm-hmm. that is appointed by the city and county. Some of those board members are also elected officials from the city and county. Mm-hmm. Others are citizens appointed at large.
Okay.
If I was going to sum it up, we are a $1 billion community asset. That's essentially the value of the assets on our books. But if we lost it all today somehow, we would spend $6.5 billion to replace it.
Unbelievable.
We have 1,200 miles of water line, about the same amount of wastewater line, all underground, out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. So if you're driving down the street, you drive over a manhole, our goal is for you to ignore it, not be aware of it. Mm-hmm. It's our job to remember that there's almost 24,000 of those that we've got to keep our eyes on and maintain. If you're parking near a fire hydrant and you're wondering, why is that fire hydrant there? Why is it blocking my parking space? The answer is it's going to provide the best fire protection possible for your community. And there's 8,100 of them that we're worried about and we're thinking about and making sure that they're working to protect you and your family at night if, in the worst case scenario, a fire occurred. Mm-hmm. So that's your water and wastewater system.
Fantastic. And I remember when you were giving us the overview, you were giving the history of, kind of what was here in Wilmington 120 years ago. Was it Clarendon or Clary?
Yeah, the Clarendon Water Works.
Okay.
So for us that live in Wilmington, we're aware that Wilmington has deep roots. Mm-hmm. We have been an economic engine for the state for hundreds of years. And because we were so important as the primary port into North Carolina, we had one of the first water systems. 1881, the Clarendon Water Works, a private business, was established. That's actually the same year that the city of Charlotte established their water system.
Okay.
For about 25 years or so, this private water system with a couple of hundred customers provided water from the northeast Cape Fear River for fire protection downtown, mm-hmm. to protect the docks and to protect the warehouses from the risk of fire. Mm-hmm. The water system predates the fire department.
Interesting.
Right? The fire department came after the water system. About 1901, city leaders decided that this is best served as a public service and purchased that system.
Okay.
The story of sewerage is something very similar. It started as a private business and was later acquired by the city. And for about 95 years, the city of Wilmington provided water and sewer service through a department. During that time, like all cities, Wilmington grew. And as the city grew, the water and sewer systems also expanded. So you will hear familiar names. There were water and sewer systems constructed for private neighborhoods that became part of the city through annexation. The Dobo systems. You may have been on UNC Wilmington's campus and seen the Dobo building.
Oh yeah, Dobo Hall.
That's right. So that was, that was a couple of brothers, is what my memory says, a family that in part of their gift back to our county and our city provided neighborhoods and provided water and sewer, and we acquired those as part of that growth. But there were neighborhoods that were being developed that were outside of the city, several hundred. By 1984, the leaders of New Hanover County decided it was time to consolidate all of these smaller neighborhood systems under one roof, so to speak. So New Hanover County formed the Water and Sewer District of New Hanover County. So we have these two rather large systems. Then you have a water and sewer system that served Wrightsville Beach, a water and sewer system that served Curry Beach and Carolina Beach. And that was the state of water in our community up until about the mid-2000s. In the mid-2000s, there was a series of environmental problems. We had sanitary sewer overflows. We had, unfortunately, wastewater that would accidentally spill out into our coastal waterways and into our coastal creeks, tidal creeks. And that was an unacceptable condition. So the federal and state government stepped in and suggested to the city and county that one way to resolve this problem was to form a third party that just focused on the problem. And that was the genesis of CFPUA. It was formed in 2007 in response to these environmental challenges. Opened our doors in 2008. And over the next 17 years, we have been diligently focused on making sure that we resolve all the problems of the past and that we provide the next generation with reliable, safe, and abundant drinking water and wastewater services. And we're now into our 17th, almost 18th year.
Awesome. And how many people work for the Cape Fear Public Utility Authority today?
We are authorized to have 340 positions. And if you think about it, we are an industry of tradesmen and laymen and master craftsmen. We're also an industry of scientists and financial experts and engineering experts and industrial operations specialists. So we run the whole gambit of employment opportunity. We have HR staff, we have communication staff, we have a very robust information technology team. We are self-sufficient in terms of the needs to provide services to our community. And if you're looking for an interesting career where you're giving back to your neighbor, come knock on CFPUA's door. We probably have a job for you.
That's awesome. And to manage 8,100 fire hydrants, 24,000
manholes.
24,000 manholes, $6 billion worth of infrastructure. I'd imagine you guys have a good amount of technology and infrastructure to support that management. Tell us a little bit of what that looks like.
Well, I'll start by saying how I started in the business, which was 33 years ago. Working as a young man in college at a water treatment plant. And that water treatment plant was built in the 40s. So everything was pneumatic, everything was hand geared, or it was analog. In a modern water and wastewater system, and we own together a modern and water and wastewater system, we have cutting edge instrumentation and control technology. We have some of the most interesting operational, what we call OT technology, where water and wastewater treatment plants are essentially operated by computer. And the operators, when I started, an operator was a layperson with maybe a month or two of training. Our operators are now journeymen at a minimum. Many of them have associate's degrees or bachelor's degrees. The people that manage the facilities have probably got graduate degrees. And that's because they have to understand this new world of operational technology and how it marries with the business applications we all use, right?
Absolutely.
So it's very difficult to have a modern business today without fundamental business applications. So we have, remote control sensors. We have remote telemetry.
What's telemetry?
Well,
Explain that one.
Essentially, in the old days, we really didn't know how much water was in a water tank unless we'd drive by it and we'd see a float on the side of the tank, and it'd be up or down, it'd be high or low. Telemetry is the combination of sensors and transmittal units that allow us to take that digital data of what's happening in that water tank. How much water is in it, what condition is that water, whether the pumps are on and off, whether the valves are open and closed, and transmit it back to a large control center that, quite frankly, looks like something you'd find at Johnson Space Control.
I was gonna say I have this vision like of NASA or something like like launch control with all these screens and all these people and all sorts of charts and graphs and stuff like that.
Yes, that's the modern wastewater treatment plant and the modern wastewater treatment plant. And of course, we have to protect all that technology in a modern world from cyber terrorism, cyber crime. So we separate that the operational technology through various means from the outward-facing business technology, which is also air-gapped, so to speak. As an example, I think I can fairly share that recently we saw somewhere along the lines of 18,000 penetration attempts a day.
Oh my gosh.
Using just the 10 top cyber penetration methods. There's actually hundreds of thousands of attacks that are possible. And we stopped monitoring a year ago how many of those apply today. It was more than 98,000, 96,000 attacks a day using all the methods.
Oh my God.
And just started looking at the top 10 because those are the ones everybody needs to worry about.
Yep.
So 18,000 times a day, somebody on the other side of the world, or maybe somebody down the street, is making an attempt to access our billing data or our operational technology or our SCADA system.
Yep.
And we have a very robust team of individuals within the organization and outside of it that are working every day to protect us from bad actors. That's the new world we live in. So with technology, which comes with a great number of efficiency and effectiveness gains, we also have new risks and challenges that we need to meet.
Absolutely. So you mentioned in the mid-2000s there was some environmental issues, and then we all have seen in the news and heard about the Chemours plant and the the issues with chemicals getting into the water, and to where we are today with which you mentioned as a very highly technical system, and some of water bottle qualities coming straight out of our tap. Can you correlate where we are today because of the issues that we faced? Or would you say that this is, the natural progression of what would have happened anyway? Did it accelerate us, with investment and stuff like that?
Well, let me step back to many years ago, 1943.
All right.
So we're in the middle of the great Second World War. Wilmington is a hub for shipbuilding.
Yes.
And we're gaining a lot of new residents. Wartime effort. The water treatment plant needs to be replaced. And at the time, it looked like the Northeast Cape Fear River was not going to be the best source of water. We were seeing a lot of saltwater intrusion. There was a lot of contamination of the wharf area where the intake was. Even as the intake slowly moved up the Cape Fear River, we were seeing challenges and problems. So there was a basic decision, well, what do we do here? Do we go to the Cape Fear River? And there was a concern about doing that because there was so much industrialization upstream.
Right.
The first wastewater treatment plants were being built around the same time. And I've read a study that was done, and our city grandfathers and our grandmothers, the leaders back then, said, well, this water source is always going to be a problem. And we need to hold our upstream neighbors accountable for keeping it as clean as possible. And we're going to build the best water treatment plant possible to do our job. And that was 1943, 44.
They had some foresight, it sounds like.
So this community has a generational commitment to watershed protection and monitoring the watershed, and to ensuring that its water treatment plants are at the cutting edge. So when we discovered as a community in 2016 the extent of contamination from an upstream neighbor, Chemours, introducing a new, novel type of contaminant that wasn't really on anybody's radar.
Yeah, exactly.
PFAS, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. And in particular, it was a new, to us, type of PFAS called Gen X. And when we discovered through the good work of NC State and the researchers there that these chemicals were not only making their way into the river, essentially unregulated, and into our air supply, we later learned, or up into the atmosphere, but they were making it through our newly renovated Sweeny Water Treatment Facility. The Sweeny facility, just a couple of years before we discovered this, had gone through a major renovation, looking to the future. Well, we quite simply didn't see this problem coming. But what did the city leaders do? And to their credit, I've got to say this is amazing to me as somebody who's moved in. They did not wait on the federal government to step in or the state government to step in and tell them what they needed to do. They saw a crisis of confidence among their customers about what was in the water. And in 2017, there was at least one published scientific abstract that suggested that Gen X had a serious health impact. It was very much linked to other PFAS that were known health problems. So with that information, and with the community coming together, saying we need to do something, our leaders in 2017 decided that they were going to step forward and they were going to build even more technology, build a better water treatment plant to remove this pollutant. And they were going to do it on a wartime footing. So for a year they studied the problem. So from going from knowing nothing, studying it, to a year later having a solution is a wartime footing. And then they said, we're going to design this facility. And a year and a month after they made that decision, the facility was designed and permitted. And then we're going to build that facility. And they built it in 3 years, which is an amazing track record for something that's $43 million. It's a massive addition to the water treatment plant. So it was a 5-year wartime effort. And in October of 2022, we commissioned the facility and it is now removing not only the pollutants we discovered in 2017, it's removing pollutants we didn't even know existed in 2017 that we subsequently discovered while designing and constructing the facility, all coming from our neighbor upstream, Chemours. And right now it is tuned to Chemours specific short chain PFAS, providing some of the best water in the nation. And how can I say this? Because we've had hundreds of visitors a year since 2022, over 500 a year, from other communities, community leaders, elected officials, regulatory officials from other states, scientists and engineers looking to build the next generation of treatment facilities around the nation. I've seen some estimates that suggest maybe 5,000 similar facilities need to be constructed. And we are a template for success.
Amazing.
And how to do it right.
Amazing. So what we have built here in Wilmington to service our community is being used as a benchmark of a best in practice facility to replicate across the country.
Absolutely, today. And we're providing some of the best water that you can find in the nation today.
So the reverse osmosis filters and stuff that people have been putting in their homes. I've got one myself. Is it what's the benefit of having that at this point, or something like that?
Well, I say this to anybody who asks me that question. If it provides you with peace of mind, if you're concerned that something happening to that water between these brand new filters and your tap, then by all means continue.
Yep.
But keep in mind that we have built what is essentially one of the world's largest Brita pitchers. I'm not picking any particular comparison, but think about granular activated carbon. That's what's used in these treatment systems at your home. We now have 3 million pounds of it that we exchange every year. You're getting 3 million pounds of new granular activated carbon treatment every year at that new water treatment plant. In some ways, it concerns me a little because I see that we're irrigating with this fantastic water. But we have to treat everything, right?
Right.
And this is, if you want to keep your Brita pitcher, if you want to keep your whole house filtration, or your under the sink RO unit because it makes you feel more comfortable, no problem. But the most precious thing in the world to me is my wife and my daughters. And I am happy every day they drink our water. When I see New Hanover County children going to school, I am proud that they're drinking some of our water. When our Craft Brewers Alliance make a good new brew, and I'm toasting it with my friends, I'm proud that it's made from CFPUA water, because it's good water.
I'm very passionate about craft beer myself, and so I like that example. But what I've learned from one of the main ingredients in beer is water, and people will, as part of their selection and site process, they really go and they test the water. They look at the water that's going to be used as part of their brewing. And I'm curious, we've got a bunch of really good breweries here in Wilmington. Do you think that's has something to do with the influx of breweries, or is that just trend and
Well, of course, everybody wants to live in Wilmington. I wish I'd known how good it was. I'd have been here decades earlier.
Yeah.
And we make great beer. We've always made great beer here. But I can tell you, our Brewers Alliance likes our product. We've had them on some of our media, our social media. We've done a commercial with them talking about using our water. They've given it the seal of approval. And of course, we're going to give a seal of approval to their product.
That's right. Next time you guys do a tasting or approval process on the beer, let me know. I'd like to join in on that.
Absolutely.
So we've got this state-of-the-art carbon filtration system, which is generating, some of the best and cleanest drinking water. But from the filter then to our tap, it's still going through infrastructure.
That's right.
How much of this, what is the average age of this infrastructure? What are some of the, efforts you guys have done to keep that infrastructure up to date and up to speed and up to quality?
Well, that is something that we're working on quite a bit. Being a community with a lot of older infrastructure, we have a heavy lift to replace some of those water lines and those sewer lines. For example, not too long ago, I had some numbers run, and we had 170 miles of water line that was older than 70 years old.
Wow.
So, water and wastewater lines are like people. They have a lifespan. And matter of fact, that lifespan is pretty much like the human lifespan, somewhere around 70 to 80 years. Some fails earlier, some lives a lot longer. But we have quite a bit of water infrastructure under the ground that needs to be replaced. And that is why you see so many projects underway in our community. We have 104 projects underway right now.
What's the dollar value of that capital expenditure, would you say, roughly?
We have $577 million worth of projects underway.
Amazing.
Right now. We've spent $200 million of it. Now, on our books, over the next 10 years, we have another $612 million.
I'm sorry, is that including expansion, or is that all?
There is some expansion there, but the vast majority of that is replacement. Aging infrastructure. So we've got $1.1, $1.2 billion worth of projects either underway or will soon be underway. The single most important project is actually the replacement of one of our wastewater plants.
Okay.
So we have 2 industrial water treatment facilities. One of them, by the way, is an RO plant.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we have the most advanced granular activated carbon facility at the Sweeny facility, and then we have a reverse osmosis treatment facility, a smaller one, up in the Ogden area. So that's where your water comes from.
Okay.
Your wastewater, it's a little bit different. We collect it from your house and my house, from Monkey Junction up to Ogden area, and we pump it through 1,200 miles of pipe, gravity and pump pipe, to one of 2 locations, 2 wastewater treatment plants. One is next to ILM Airport. You probably have noticed it if you drive by it.
Absolutely.
And the other is south of the ports. Well, the one next to ILM, north side, that reclamation facility was completely renovated in 2008. In our business, for decades, we called these facilities wastewater treatment plants. And then these facilities became so complex, and the technology and the end product in terms of effluent became so good, in other places in the nation, it becomes a source of drinking water.
Wow.
So we have changed our language about these facilities. They're no longer wastewater treatment plants. Nationwide, we refer to them as reclamation facilities because you get not only clean water from them, you can maybe capture energy. City of Raleigh is using their reclamation facility to fuel 50 to 60 buses a day.
Unbelievable.
Yes. In other locations, they use it to capture nutrients, phosphorus. And there's even some facilities that are looking to capture exotic metals, rare earths, recapture them and reuse them. So the language has changed. So our north side reclamation facility is rather new, but the south side reclamation facility is 53 years old.
Got it.
And it is long overdue to be replaced. We've spent $12 million over the last several years keeping it together, keeping it running. But about 3 years ago, we recognized it's not going to go very much longer. So, again, our leaders are on our board are wise folk. They've been planning for this for 15 years. They bought land next door, and they started the process to find design engineers and contractors to build a brand new reclamation facility next to the old one that will serve the next 2 or 3 generations. Now, that's going to be a very expensive project. The current cost estimate is somewhere between $400 million and $500 million.
Is that included in the 1.2 billion?
It is. It's the single largest part of it.
Definitely.
It's the single largest part of it. But it's an absolute necessity. And while we are replacing that old facility, this is the best time to go ahead and make it a little bit larger, right?
Yep.
So when's the best time to add on to your house? It's when you're building it for the first time.
That's right.
Because it gets more difficult to add a room or add a garage after you've designed and built your home. So we're taking a 12 million gallon a day plant, and we're going to replace it with a 16 million gallon a day plant. And that will provide for the orderly growth of our community, which is one of the fundamental goals that we have, is to support the community's desired pace of growth, whatever that is.
So it sounds like there's got to be some collaboration with, just general planning for our community to say, okay, what does 2 or 3 generations look like from now, and how do we plan ahead for that?
Very much so, very much so. And I'm pleased to say that our relationship with the city and our relationship with the county is very strong. It is a family relationship. And we worked recently with the county looking at, all right, what is its growth potential, what its desired growth, which could be 2 different things, over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And looking at the potential, we have designed some infrastructure to support the current pace of growth.
Right.
That infrastructure, about 3 years ago, our county leaders asked, can we go ahead and let's lay that all out now? The county had received a large special appropriation from the General Assembly, and we had received one. And our county leaders and our board leaders decided to bring that money together.
Awesome.
And create an economic development zone to the north of New Hanover County. So we now actually have over $100 million worth of projects underway right now to provide the backbone of growth that will occur over 20 years. And those projects will be done by 2027.
Fantastic.
And our children will be set for their homes over the next 20 years up in that area. And we're building the wastewater treatment plant to ensure that we have the wastewater treatment capacity for our children and their children. And the same is true for water. So what we have today was a gift from our grandparents. We've got a lot of old infrastructure. Some of it's from our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents. What we're doing now is laying the foundation for your children and my children and for their children. We're giving back.
Yep. And funding all these projects. So we get a water bill. So we're generating revenue through that. You mentioned some special appropriations. How else is Cape Fear Public Utility funded? Is there any federal money, state money on a regular basis, or how does that work?
Not on a regular basis, but we've been very successful over the last 4 years in receiving one-time special appropriations for various projects. I did kind of a back-of-the-napkin calculation, and we received or have been promised $190 million in special appropriations. And we are pursuing more, both at the state and federal level. But it is also true that that's not going to close that $1.1 billion gap, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty big number.
And that's got to come from somewhere. The development community, as we grow, pays system development charges.
Okay.
So they actually reimburse you and I for any extra capacity that we put into the structures today, the infrastructure today.
Okay.
So they're buying in. They're buying their fair share.
Okay.
So at least for water and sewer, growth pays for growth.
I like that.
But our existing customers, we've been given this gift by our grandparents. And think of it as a house. We've had it for 2 generations, almost 3. The roof needs to be replaced. The AC unit needs to be replaced. We might need to replumb it. We might need to rewire it. That's the size of the investment in the home.
Yep.
So we're going to have to spend more money, more of our own capital. That's been in the form of increased water and sewer rates.
Right.
We've seen it over the last couple of years. We'll probably see some more over the next couple of years. Our goal is to be as efficient and effective with the money given us. So to waste nothing. To build only what we need when we need it. And to minimize the ask of you and I and all the other ratepayers, to ask no more than what's necessary. Because we're not for profit. We don't make a profit. We don't give bonuses.
Right.
We don't give dividends to shareholders.
I was just about to say that, yep.
Right? The money that we collect, it goes right back into our community. Matter of fact, we know from an economic analysis that for every dollar that we collect and invest in the community, it generates $1.66 in positive economic impact.
Fantastic. It's a pretty darn good ROI.
It really is. It really is. But we have to remain vigilant. We have to avoid waste and ask no more than necessary from our customers.
How does the pricing of our utility and water specifically benchmark against other communities in the United States?
We're right in the middle of the pack.
Yep.
What we are seeing across the nation is a lot of communities are having to replace aging water and wastewater plants because a lot of them were built in the early 70s.
Yep.
So it's time to replace them. A lot of communities are seeing double-digit increases in their water and sewer. We're not. But I know for a fact that there's communities in North Carolina, large ones, that are seeing double-digit increases every year. Our board is taking a different approach. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yep.
So manageable increases a little bit at a time, year over year, building on each other, allows us to maintain as low a rate as possible. We're right in the middle of the pack. And I anticipate we'll remain there.
I look at this, trying to compare this to a corporation where you've got shareholders, and instead of providing dividends, what we're providing is value and resources.
And quality of life.
And quality of life.
That's right.
And so, our investment as a user, yes, our prices are increasing a little bit, but when you look at what the output is from that investment, looking at it from that lens, I think is a different way to think about it, maybe.
Well, it's also important to remember that when this gift was given to us by our grandfathers and our grandmothers, the federal government was providing a lot more support than it provides today. So the Clean Water Act came about, 1972? The Safe Drinking Water Act, 1974. With those fundamental federal regulations was a tranche of loan and grant money, mostly grants. That all disappeared. So this is the first time, we're the first generation that's had to bear the burden of replacing that alone, or mostly alone. Again, our local delegation has been fantastic. It's been across party lines and has been uniform in their approach to trying to serve our customers by bringing state resources. But even with all the work they've done, it's not covered more than 15-20% of the costs that we're looking at.
Got it.
So we're going to have to do the rest of the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what helps us, quite frankly, is as long as we have new customers moving in,
That's right.
they help share the load.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like an insurance pool.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our old infrastructure is inside the city of Wilmington.
Right.
With customers that have been there for generations.
Mm-hmm.
When we build new infrastructure on the edges, or we rebuild infrastructure inside of Wilmington, or if we build it out in Ogden, for example, that's brand new infrastructure. And we've got new customers. That's like having young, healthy people join an insurance pool.
Right.
It brings
Right.
the cost down for everybody. We spread it out over a larger group of individuals.
Yep.
So at least for the water and wastewater system, this orderly growth that we have in front of us, whatever pace our community chooses to have it, will have a positive impact
Yep.
on future water and sewer rates.
The accountant in me is thinking about it's a way to spread the fixed cost
Mm-hmm.
across more units, which drives the overall price down on a
That's right.
per unit basis, so to speak.
That's right. That's why not only growth, but utility mergers are a fundamentally financially sound approach.
Yep.
We recently completed the first utility merger in our young organization's life. We consolidated we merged with the town of Wrightsville Beach.
Yep.
A community of 2,800 connections. They bring with them their own fund balance and special appropriations that they had themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that 190, that number that I shared, was a $25 million special appropriation as incentive to consolidate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have quite a few projects that we have to build to bring that older utility to our current standard. We've got it programmed. But when those projects are done, we'll see a collective savings because we're spreading the fixed cost out to more people, right?
Yep.
It's already a win-win for both communities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not costing our existing customers a dime.
Amazing.
So that's another business approach
Yep.
to addressing the long-term costs. Smart, planned consolidations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking again, back to business, mergers and acquisitions,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity and the value add of consolidation. And I mean, you're running a $1 billion organization. We're talking about IT, security, technology, HR, finance, M&A, strategic planning, hits all the buckets.
That's right. Our PP&E, so we'll use some more business language, is about $1 billion in terms of existing fixed assets. Replacement cost new is about 6.5. Our annual budget is about $130 million.
Mm-hmm.
We are a substantial economic driver within the community.
Absolutely.
And we also have the pleasure of knowing that our product is used to cook food and to provide comfort, and give the wonder of a very hot shower one day,
Mm-hmm.
or to fill swimming pools. So we contribute to the quality of life on the drinking water side. And then when people are done with that water, we'll collect it. We'll cleanse it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll reclaim resources from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll discharge it into the estuary, protecting our fisheries and our beaches, which are themselves an economic driver for the region.
That's right.
As well as a fundamental part of the quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very satisfying business to be in.
That's so cool to hear you talk about it like that. Because I just never would have thought about it having such a big impact on a community, but it's massive.
It is, and we're under the radar
Mm-hmm.
because we're underground.
Yep.
And we're happy staying there. But we're also happy when people recognize what a nice asset they have, what a wonderful staff they have.
Yep.
Last week, I had the pleasure of watching our chair, Wes Quarter, receive accolades from our peers across the nation. We were in Austin, Texas, and our chairman collected on behalf of our board national recognition, the Platinum Award from the Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies. That's the largest utilities in the nation. Think New York to Los Angeles. were in the room, utility directors and the board leadership. And we were being recognized by them for what a fantastic utility our community has. That was a wonderful feeling to watch that happen. And it's because of our board and all of the board members that came before them.
Yep.
And our community leaders with the city and county. And it's because of staff that love where they work and they play where they work. They live here too. So you have, and I have, a world-class utility.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that we face as a community? Definitely in regards to our utilities, but more so just generally with our growth trajectory. And what do you foresee?
Well, I believe, like many folks in our community, we've got to decide what is the right rate of growth for us. And how do we deal with the negative consequences of growth while also enjoying the positive benefits from it. I think there'll be a conversation about that.
Yeah.
CFPUA is actually not part of that conversation. Our job is to fit within the context of our community planning. So as our city and county leaders set the pace, as our business community sets the pace, our job is to fall in right behind and make sure that it's a reality, turning their concepts into concrete. There's going to be some conversation about that, I'm sure. Affordability is definitely going to be a question. As our rates increase across the nation, there's going to be a part of our population that's going to have challenges keeping up with those increased bills. So we've got to think about what are the tools in our toolbox to try to provide those customers who are stretched in terms of their personal finances, connecting them with nonprofits, connecting them with safety nets, helping them through payment plans, providing them employment. One of the best things that CFPUA can do is provide employment and an opportunity to rise from wherever you are to the professional class and further. We're one of the few places left where you can come in as a high school graduate, like I did, and leave as a graduate student, professional, lawyer, a engineer, a public administrationist, a business administrationist. Matter of fact, I'm very proud to say that we invest in our employees. We have an education stipend for them so they can go back to school. We have relationships with UNC Wilmington. And we have a position dedicated within the organization, a workforce development manager, and her sole job is to make our staff as successful as they want to be. So one of the things we can do for our customers is to provide the stepping stone ladder, so to speak, into a better life.
I don't know what else to say after that. That's pretty remarkable. With your knowledge of history, your knowledge of the industry is really cool to hear, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come and share that and spend some time and shoot our first podcast in this awesome. New studio.
Thank you very much. I really appreciated the opportunity to come talk to you and to get our story out there to our customers.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything that you do, and to the team behind the scenes that's supporting you. And just like your teams behind the scenes, our infrastructure's behind the scenes and underground. So.
That's right. My thanks to our board, who provide the leadership,
Yep.
and to our staff, who walked this journey with us together.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
Thank you.